Hello there, I'm Joyce Katonska, and I'm very happy to be with you today to help celebrate Mr. Rogers' Day here at Westminster St. Augustine. As most of you know, the iconic Fred Rogers passed away in 2003, but he left us a wonderful legacy of caring and compassion for others, for being the best that we could be, and appreciating the differences in other people. This year, all WSA campuses are celebrating the human spirit. Each month we have a different theme, and this month our theme is flourish. We thought a bit of Mr. Rogers' wisdom might be a nice way to help celebrate that concept. So we invited our own Mr. Rogers to share some thoughts with us about flourishing in a world where differences are both appreciated and celebrated. Mr. Rogers.
Hello, Joyce, and hello to our audience. As you can see, I am as comfortably dressed as Fred usually was when visiting his neighborhood of make-believe. I love wearing casual sweaters, and I think being casual helps people to feel comfortable, don't you?
I do. So let's begin with a comfortable but meaningful conversation about flourishing. Let's start with what flourishing means to you and why it should be important and meaningful to residents here.
Well, it seems to me that to flourish, in the broad sense, is to grow and do well. In today's world, getting older does not have to mean getting old. Here at WSA, we have so many opportunities to continue learning, to engage in new hobbies, to volunteer in ways that add meaning to our lives and to others. I like that we can all flourish if we want to, and new activities help us to stay young in body, mind, and spirit.
Well, I like that thought. So how can we convince others here that no matter what their age, they too can flourish and help others to flourish as well? They can continue to grow.
Well, let me answer with a story. One of my favorite characters in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood was Lady Elaine Fairchild. Do you remember her?
I do. She was one of my favorites.
She was often bossy, and children didn't always like her until she learned that to flourish, you need to share. When she developed her own television studio, she invited all her neighbors into the studio to share their talents. Not only did she flourish, but her neighbors did as well. Don't you think that's a good lesson for us all?
You're probably right. I agree. I also think many of WSA's older residents, maybe I should say longer term residents, like things just the way they are. How can we encourage them to do more, to be more?
Well, now, sometimes people are just lonely or shy, so we need to offer them opportunities to flourish. Try inviting someone to lunch or dinner and learn about their interests. A friendly beginning and good conversation can overcome shyness and reticence. New friendships can blossom.
I like your advice. Maybe it will give some people the incentive to reach out or to become engaged, whether to flourish themselves or to help others to flourish.
Well, I like to think that we all enjoy learning about something new. And many of us like to teach, instruct, or share. Isn't it nice that at WSA we can do it all? It's a wonderful environment for everyone to share their passions and learn new things. Flourishing can be big or small and yet still be meaningful. You know, I think one ingredient is enthusiasm, which can be very contagious.
Good point. You're right. So I want to switch gears a bit. Can we talk about how diversity comes from flourishing? Could we look at the idea of flourishing from the perspective of differences in people and how we can both appreciate and celebrate their lives and their accomplishments?
Well, now, that seems to be a very big subject, doesn't it? Yes, we could talk about celebrating differences in race, religion, culture, and more. Oh, for that I could have used the help of Daniel Tiger, Fred Rogers' young tiger friend who always helped with both difficult questions and reminding our younger selves how to celebrate those different from ourselves. But let me give it a try. Let's see. Okay, I think the most important thing we should talk about is respect. We should respect the gifts that each individual has and not try to make them fit into a mold that we might personally be more comfortable with. You can learn so much from people who are not just like you. Don't fear differences, but embrace them. Engage in conversation. Oh, like the Social Justice Conversations group does, to better understand differences and how those differences can actually enrich your own life. I personally am a volunteer with my friends Sharon and Mignon at the Lincolnville Museum in St. Augustine. And I have learned so much about the history of that neighborhood and its importance to the city. Oh, my friend Jim works with Compassion at St. Augustine. And my friend Brenda is involved in the push for Medicaid expansion. They are all flourishing in their own way.
I think it's wonderful that so many are generous and giving with their time and really flourishing in their own way. I can't thank you enough for sharing your thoughts with us today. Any closing comments?
Well, I think it would be nice to cheer on all our neighbors who are already flourishing in their own way. So many of us are doing wonderful things for our friends, for the WSA community, and for the greater St. Augustine. Good for us, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, what a great way to end our conversation. And as Fred would have said, it's a beautiful day in our neighborhood.